This is for the review for mid-module test for Module 5. The first part here, it says the shaded part of the square below has a length of 3/4 and a width of 1/2 foot. What's the area? As soon as I see area, I do area equals length times width, and I can plug in the numbers. The length is 3/4 and the width is 1/2. And I just multiply straight across. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8. We're working in feet, and because it's area, it's square, so we call it square feet. 3/8 square feet. And a way to double check, we have 1, 2, 3 shaded out of a total of 8. Next, Sam designed a rectangular label to put on her front of her photo album. The label was 5/12 foot wide and 5/6 foot long. What's the area? Once again, we write the formula for area when we see a question. And so we have area, and we see this time the second number is the length here. This says the length, so it's 5/6. And the width is 5/12. And when I multiply straight across, 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 12 is 72, and I get 25 70-seconds, and it's square because it's area, and we're working in feet. Next question is another area, this time in inches. So we're going area equals length times width. The length right here, it's 7/8 long of an inch, and it is 3/16 wide. So we're going to multiply straight across. We have 3 times 7 is 21. Might not be able to do 16 times 8 in our head, so we come over here to the side. We do 6 times 8 is 48, carry the 4. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 4 is 12. So we come over here and it's 128. And this time we're working in square inches because it's inches up above. Now we're going to talk about some shapes. Jim gave the following description. It's a quadrilateral, so we know it has 4 sides. It says all sides are equal in length, so with quadrilaterals, that's usually either a rhombus or a square when all sides are equal. And then it says that there are 2 equal obtuse angles and 2 equal acute. Well, we know these have 90 degrees, so this would be the correct answer. So our answer to the question is a rhombus. Next, we have these 2 shapes. We have a square and a rhombus. What attribute? So when it talks about attribute, it's asking you to talk about the characteristics to describe it is good for one shape and not the other. Well, they're both parallelograms. They're both seem to have equal sides, but what I notice is the difference is that the square has 4 right angles. Now we're going to read our riddle below. And we have 4 sides again, so we know that that is a quadrilateral. And only one pair of parallel sides. So when there's only one pair of parallel sides, we know that gets us down to a trapezoid. And then there's more than one right angle. So what the shape is going to be, it's going to be a right trapezoid. And what that picture looks like, in case you don't know what a right trapezoid is it would look something like this. And in this case, in order to see it, you see that this line is parallel to this. That's the one pair of parallel sides. There's more than one right angle because in this corner it's a right angle. In this corner it's a right angle. And there's 4 sides. So it's our right trapezoid. What type of triangle is shown? So we look at our triangle and we point out the things we notice first before we look at our choices. And I notice that all of the sides are different. And when all of the sides are different, that tells me it's a scalene triangle. So I'm going to go down here. Went a little too far. So right here, because all three sides are different, I know that I have a scalene triangle. Now we're going to talk about this quadrilateral. Has two acute angles, two obtuse angles, and two pairs of parallel sides. So when I look at that, I know that my answer can be one of two things. It can be a rhombus or a parallelogram. Next, here's Anna, and she plotted these points down here, and I look at this picture to see what does this picture look like. And to me, that looks like a trapezoid. It's upside down from what you're used to seeing, but it definitely looks like a trapezoid. What's the name of a figure that's always a rectangle? A square is always a rectangle by definition. Bob makes a rectangular sign. It's 3/4 yards long, 1/4 yard wide. What's the area? And we just talked about that area equals length times width. So here's our area, and the length this time is 3/4, and the width this time is 1/4. And when I multiply them together, I get 3/16, and we're talking yards, so we say square yards. Next question. Back to area, we have rectangular puzzle. The length is 3/4 of a foot. The width is 5/12 of a foot. What's the area? So once again, we write our formula. And we know that our length is 3/4 and our width is 5/12. And we end up with 15/48. And we're square because it's area. And we're talking about feet. Square feet. Okay, question 13. This time we have to fill in. Lucinda helps her teacher set up two tables. They're touching each other. So we see our picture. And it says, what's the length and width of table A? So we're going to start with trying to find the length here, which is this one. And we're going to see that we have this 1 and this 3 added together. When you add 1 plus the 3, that will match that whole other side. So we do 1 plus 3, and that would give us that it's 4 meters. So now we're going to look at the width. And when I look at the width, I want to find this distance right here. Well, we know this whole distance is 3. If we take away this part of the distance, it's going to leave us this distance, which is the same as the one across because rectangles are the same across. Opposite sides are equal. So this time we're going to do 3 minus 2, and we end up with 1. Next question. Some of the quadrilaterals have parallel sides. So we look at this one, and I can see right away that this one doesn't have parallel sides at all. So we're just going to get rid of that one. And when I look at this one doesn't have parallel sides either, so we're going to get rid of that one. Now it says which quadrilaterals have two pairs of parallel sides. Well, this only has one. So I see that A, B, and F all have two pairs of parallel sides. So we're going to write A, B, and F. And then it says what's the name of the set for two parallel sides. So when something has two pairs of parallel sides, we know that the big name for that set, they are called parallelograms. And then what's the name for the set of quadrilaterals with two pairs of right angles? Since it says pairs, that's really telling me 4 right angles. So 2 pairs of right angles, and what covers all of those? Not just some of them. They are all rectangles.